So I started with this, and it turned into this. Stay tuned to find out more. Hello, beautiful people of the interwebs. Wayne Hackman here, aka Whackstar. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I put out a very short video on how to make your own electrical blackout buster, something that will sustain the basics in your home should disaster strike. Well, certainly in my local community, there's been a lot of interest in this, even so much so that somebody who I know well has asked me to create something that has a little bit more grunt but can power a few electrical sockets in his home. So I just want to share with you a little bit about the process that I went through. I've also built a mini version, actually a few different versions, and all have their own use case scenario. But I want you to stay to the end, because one of these blackout busters could potentially provide electricity to somebody who really needs it. Since the original video, I've been experimenting with different size lead-acid batteries, inverters, solar charge controllers and panels, and it's remarkable what you can find locally and what these devices can do. This is the original device, which I lent to my friends because they were curious, and they liked it so much that they've asked me to build something that was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and could sit outside instead of inside, and so this is what I came up with. The lockable box was built by a local carpenter, and all of the components have been upgraded. A bigger solar charge controller so that they can add more panels, 12 volt accessory and USB charging, as well as a 1000 watt inverter. And beneath it you can see a 100 amp hour lead acid battery, all ventilated by this 12 volt fan that is connected to the USB of the inverter. There's also space for another battery to be added should they wish, and of course ventilation is really important, so when the inverter is on, it's drawing cold air from the bottom and then pushing it out of these top vent holes, ensuring that there is no build-up of gases. This XT90 connector and also 13 amp socket enables you to plug the house in as well as the solar panel, and all their wires is run through trunking into the roof, which goes up to this 100 watt solar panel. This sits comfortably on the roof, and from my experience, if the inverter isn't used too much, will actually keep the system running nicely. I've created this extension cable so that the whole unit can actually be removed and taken somewhere else. This is not a sunny day, but you can see 13.2 volts of electricity up to 1 amp is coming down from that cable into this box, and the box has been specifically designed to add more batteries or more accessories and to be taken away if they wanted to use it in a different venue or a different place. And of course the two sockets inside have been run nicely into the roof, and you can see they've put these two solar sockets that run this lamp, the internet router, as well as on the other side another two sockets that runs a television, and this should be very comfortable for that 1000 watt inverter. I think that they probably could leave this equipment plugged in indefinitely, provided it's not used 24/7. You'll find that they'll have enough charge. I built a mini version of the Blackout Buster, and you can see that in the video here, using the same construction technique that I did in the original video. The only difference is the battery is slightly less ampage. The inverter can't handle so many electrical devices, and well, the solar cell is a lot smaller. But even with this Blackout Buster, I was able to power an internet router for well over 24 hours, and that was without a solar panel being connected to it. Anyway, as do many of my endeavors, I slightly get overexcited and end up buying lots of bits and pieces that, quite frankly, I don't really need. And so I put this mini blackout buster onto our local community sales site, and this man came to see me, someone I know well, but I didn't know too much about his family circumstances, and he said, "Could I buy it, please?" And as I was chatting to him, I asked him why he needed to buy it. He said, "Well, I just need to charge my daughter's laptop. She goes to a school where she needs it. But in our homestead, we don't have any electricity, and so I was kind of hoping that it would provide some electrical lighting, charge her laptop and charge our devices." Well, in all good conscience, I couldn't sell him this device. Instead, I'm in the process of building him something that will be much better for his family use case scenario. This gave me the idea that if I could sell enough of these blackout busters, maybe I could create enough of them to be able to provide needy individuals the opportunity to have a basic electrical supply in their home. And so it's kind of snowballed from there. The install of the blackout buster ended up being built into a wooden box that I got a local fundi, a local workman or carpenter to make. I bought all the equipment from our local town, supporting a small local business. I spent perhaps 2 or 3 hours constructing and testing the items, and then installed it in the home, paying some more fundies to wire in the electrical sockets and also route the electrical wiring up to the solar panel, which they helped mount on the roof. And so just by simply creating one of these blackout busters, I've given quite a bit of money to the local community. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I can find more individuals to build these blackout busters for. People who genuinely need them, who don't have or can't afford to install electricity in their own homes. And so I'm going to ask you, perhaps buy me a coffee, perhaps subscribe to this channel, and I promise you that any money I make from this video or from the buy me a coffee, I'm going to put into blackout busters, and so I can start giving them to people around my local community. I've also got a bigger idea of how one of these blackout busters can power a Starlink Mini, and I want to be able to take it to the next level over the next year and install more schools with a reliable power source and an internet connection so that they can teach digital literacy. And that's part of my big motorbike cycling plan that I'm going to take you on the journey next year and talk to you about as and when I'm able to make these videos. Listen, thank you so much for watching. Please rate and subscribe. Do all of the things that YouTubers do, but perhaps also, maybe you might want to send me a super thanks or buy me a coffee so that I can build a few more of these blackout busters to help people who don't have access to internet or electricity very easily. Bye.